Talk, second edition, I guess. Um, I had a response video to the Oscar and agreed, but I guess it goes across the whole board. I came across a Yahoo article this morning talking about the rich getting richer and the poor getting poor. I don't know if y'all remember when the whole economic downturn came. Jay Leno did a free concert here at the Palace, and I think it was the day before the concert or whatever. There was an article in the paper where somebody interviewed him, and he was talking about the gap between rich people and poor people. He was saying back in the 60s, maybe even the 70s, where they had a GM or Ford, they drove the top of the line Cadillac or the top of the line Lincoln. Now the CEOs of these companies own Bentleys with chauffeurs, you know. Some of them own islands and stuff like that, you know. How can it be such a big gap between two people who could work essentially for the same company, you know? Uh, my whole video with Oscar was, how can two dudes stepping in the ring together at the same time make such a disparity in money, you know? I mean, if Oscar was fighting Shane Mosley, maybe his drawing power wasn't as great as Oscar's, but whose drawing power really that great, you know? You know, Oscar never drew in 2 million people until he fought Mayweather. So why was the disparity so big when they fought, you know? I mean, obviously he had never gotten close to 2 million views or pay-per-view buys until he fought Mayweather. So why should Mayweather have made essentially half as much as Oscar? That's crazy. So my question to everybody is it greed or is it capitalism? At what point, how much money do you need? You know, they got this ongoing contract thing with Albert Pujols where he won $30 million a year. How much money is enough money? You know what I'm saying? When's the last time, I don't know where everybody live at, but you tried to go to a baseball game or a football game, you know? Average person can only afford to go once a year. You paying $8 for a beer, $5 for a hot dog. They're making profit hand over foot on this stuff. Where's all the money going? You know what I'm saying? For the people who work, all you get is cut hours and you gotta save here and save there and cheaper paper and cheaper this and cheaper that. But the guys on the field, every contract is the biggest contract. The biggest contract in history. The next quarterback who signs a contract gonna be the biggest in history. The next pitcher who signs a contract gonna be the biggest in history. They're gonna make more money than any pitcher ever. And it just continuously gets bigger. While the people at the bottom have to continuously take cuts. I just cannot understand that to save my life. How does the guy who's hoping to get a $10,000 raise have to compete with a dude trying to get a $10 million raise, How a dude go from $20 million a year to $30 million a year. But a dude making $25,000 a year can't get $1,000 a year raise, That don't even seem almost unreal. How many lifetimes I would have to work to make what one of these guys make in an inning. Not a season, not a year, in an inning, Or fucking a quarter, I remember I broke Kevin Garnett's, that big $100 million contract he got. This dude was making $117 per second on the basketball court. $117 per second. I had to work a whole day for that much money, you know. And this dude go through CBA and all that just so they can get more money, you know. Shit, people I work with, you know, we trying to get fucking medical benefits and stuff like that. These dudes make enough money in 1 quarter of basketball to pay for health insurance for the rest of their lives and the rest of their family's lives. In 1 quarter. Remember, that's $117 a second. I won't make in my lifetime what this dude get taken out in taxes after one game. Why should it be that big a gap between the rich and the poor, you know? I ain't never been able to afford a Benz, but these guys could basically afford to buy a whole lot at any given time, you know? Why should it be that big a gap in economics in this country, you know? At one point in time, we were supposedly the richest country in the world, but it seemed like, you know, that old saying, the rich keep getting richer, the poor keep getting poorer. Still a little under the weather, but I don't know, I've been thinking about this for the longest, you know. Actually, it's always on my mind how the fact that, you know, these CEOs got bailed out by the government, or these companies rather got bailed out by the government, and these dudes were still taking home bonuses of, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars, you know. Got guys billionaires, you know. You know, I always feel like the power is in the hands of the consumers, but when will it get to the point where, I mean, when is rich enough, you know? When is rich enough, you know? It just seemed like at some point in time, I mean, what's enough money, you know? Is $10 million not enough money? You need 20 or 30, you know? When is being a millionaire not enough? You need to be a billionaire, you know? When you can afford to drive any car made or even not made, or a house to have built specifically to you and your taste, size, and preference. When do you need more money? Like, at what point do you say enough is enough, you know? I don't get it, you know? I've never understood why the gap just keeps growing, you know? I mean, at my job, I guess they had a bunch of employees that worked in the housekeeping department. So what the company did, they outsourced the job to another company, which in turn they fired all of the people that worked in this one housekeeping department, which was basically only seasonal anyway, from fucking March to September, October anyway. So these people pretty much collected unemployment for the rest of the year, you know. But just this past week, they all had to get the call that, hey, you wasn't coming back, you know. Virtually 4 weeks before they were expected to come back, you know. Just another example of the people on the bottom, you know, getting stepped on by the bigger people or the more fortunate, financially able folks. I don't know, I just want to hear what y'all think.